back, adding to the Sandra Lansky story and about the neighborhood, 82nd Street, 84th Street, and stuff like places like that. Um, I really try to like juggle two things at the same time. Um, Working with Sandy and her kid, and at nighttime I was hanging out with the gang. You know, I found myself doing some crazy stuff. Not really, nothing big. You know, I would go, what happened was that we had a couple of guys who were good going into Woolworths and different places like that and shoplifting, right? Underwears and stuff like that, and then sell them, and then we go buy weed. You know, one time a friend of mine, Fat Boy's brother, he was legally blind. I didn't know. So we go to 96th Street in Broadway, and as we're walking down, there's a place. I'm sure it was Woolworth or one of those places. And we go inside, and then Fat Boy, he grabs whatever, and we all start running out the Woolworth. And we running down the street, and his brother, forgot his name. I'm gonna call him Nelson. So Nelson, he's bumping into poles and all that. I'm looking, turned around, he's bumping into poles. I'm like, what the? And I said, bro, your brother, man, is bumping into poles. He said, yo, he can't see. I said, what? You bring this dude. I ran back, I grabbed him, and he held my hand, and we ran running down towards from 93rd Street all the way down to 84th Street. When we got there, and I go like this, man, and the guy's like this. I said, oh my gosh, bro, how you gonna bring a blind guy with us, man, to you know, snatch geesing? We call it geesing. How you gonna bring up your brother's blind, man? How you gonna bring a man like he said, you know? And I didn't. Oh man, and that was the first and last time we ever brought him, you know. But it was hilarious because this guy was bumping into signs, parking meters, you name it, you know. So I found myself, you know, I said to myself, well, you know, let me just cool. So I went back, you know, I started doing chores and stuff like that for Sandy. And I would, you know, I go to Zabar's and pick up stuff for her. Or, you know, I would take the kids. My sister, Julie, I would take her and Gary, go to Riverside Park and hang out for, you know, stuff like that, which was for me legit, you know. Then, as time was going by, I found myself, you know, like I gotta like do something with my life, you know. And then Sandy was telling me, you know, you stay in school, finish your education, you know, do this, do that, and the other. So I'm listening to her. I'm listening to, you know, the gangs, man, that, you know, they wanted to do other things. Then I caught myself hanging out in this little club-like situation where they had beer and they had, the beer cost $1 and the joint cost $1. So, you know, I found myself there and I used to hang out there, blah, blah, blah. And I would go there with my girl. Me and my girl would, you know, we go there, smoke a joint, drink a beer, and then make out. You know, one of the rooms, we go and make out, blah, blah, blah. And it was like paradise for us, you know. But life seemed much better than that, you know. And again, I would like go and listen. You know, she would, like, Sandra Lansky treated me like, again, like her little brother, you know, and she would try to guide me in the right direction. And I remember I think she was forgot the Ecuadorian, some, I can't pronounce it, but she rode horses. And in one of the pictures, she was with, I think it was Dean Martin. She was with Dean Martin. And Scott Muni came by one time. He's a celebrity DJ. He came by. I met him, and he was a nice guy. You know, he came by and stuff. You know, different types of people would come by who were celebrities. You know, and they would go into the living room, and I go to the. Actually, I would go to the maid's quarters and chill. You know, and one time I remember I went to the store for Sandra. There was this cop. His name was Sam. We called him Sam the cop. Big clumsy dude, right? And he would always watch me. This cop was always watching me. And one day he told me, he knew I was going to the building. Where are you going? I said, I'm going upstairs. Why? He said, well, I don't want you to go. I said, well, I have to go upstairs because I went to the store for the lady that lives in the building. Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know what lady. If you know who I'm talking, why are you asking me? You know, I was a wise-ass kid, you know. Anyway, so I went upstairs. When I go upstairs, I told Sandra, I said, Sandy, this cop keeps harassing me. He keeps, you know, she said, what cop? Which one? And I said, some big doofy looking, oh, you talking about, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'll talk to him. And sure enough, she saw him. She yelled out the window and told him, put him in his place. And the guy was like a big idiot. Like that, you know. He never bothered me again. You know, so he probably knew, I guess he knew, y'all better not mess with this lady big, you know. Again, I started like hanging out in on 84th Street, and I was hanging out in like a little after hour. It was like an after hour, but it was really a club, this, that, and the other. And the person that ran it, his name was Santo. He had a beard, you know, and he wore like a cowboy hat. I thought he was Mexican, but he was Boricua, you know. And cool guy. Never had any problems with him. But he would look at you a certain kind of way. And he even told me, he said, you know, I talk to people and they get on I talk to you, you don't get nervous. That's why I like you. Because you have a certain way about you. I said, oh, okay, you know. I want you to do me a favor. The favor he wanted me to do was to, you know, just get this snitch. This guy was a snitch working for the police. And he wanted me to, you know, just go inside his house and mess it up. Nothing more than that, you know. So I did it, you know. I went boom, boom, boom. And it turned out that the guy that was, you know, cooperating with the police, he had a daughter. And the daughter, so I think I knew her, you know, nice girl. She passed away early in life. Her name was Tony, beautiful girl. She had that Shirley MacLaine type of features and look, you know. Her hair was like real light brown, beautiful girl, you know. And when I said, oh my goodness, wait a minute, you know, because I saw the girl, she was all, I said, oh wow, you know. I went back, I told him, I said, yo, he said, don't worry about it. He'll get over it. He said, you didn't do anything bad anyway. You just messed up his house, wrecked his house, you know, wrecked his apartment. That's it, you know. I said, okay, cool, you know. Then right around that time, you know, I started meeting, you know, certain peoples that were unscrupulous, okay? And they would come by and, you know, we would have to leave. They'd come by. I thought they were mafia, but they weren't mafia. They were police, you know. but they conducted themselves like mafia. Uh, One day I'm sitting on the stoop waiting for my girl Vivi, and I was talking to Santo's wife, and she was telling me, she said something about her brother, and I said, what, she said, these people, they come around here, they do this, that, and the other. My brother works for the 20th precinct, and he's a big detective over there. And I said, okay. And she said, he's Eddie Egan. I said, okay. And it's funny, he did come one day, and like, you should look at her, and you look at him, the same face. So, God bless Eddie Egan if he's alive. And I said, oh wow, they look so much alike. You put a wig on him, he passed for Christina. You put a hat on him, on her, So anyways, just things started getting kind of crazy, And one day, I ended up fighting this guy because he got stupid about my girl. And I looked at him. I said, "What's your problem?" Nah, you think you're cute. You think you're this. You think you're that. And I said, "Bro, what is wrong with you?" So I said, "Look, wait, you want to fight me?" He said, "Yeah." Here we go again. So he took off his shirt, trying to look all macho man and shit. I took off mine, gave it to somebody. We started fighting. Now, mind you, Muhammad Ali used to do his shuffle. I was doing the same thing when I was upstate in High State Training School. So it was hard for a person to hit me. And this guy told me, we're fighting, and this guy had the nerve to tell me, quédate quieto, no te muevas. Stand still, don't move. Yeah, I'm stupid, right? I stand still, you're gonna knock me out, So anyway, I beat his behind, and then his boy Hector jumps in, and I said, come on, I got something for you too, boom, 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 he chilled. They stopped. They said, wait a minute, why you getting, that was a personal fight between him and Weecher, or Richard, or whatever his idiot name is. And then they said, listen, Babyface, he comes here, he doesn't bother nobody, he does his thing, he's with his girl, blah, 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 why? So, they calmed down, everything got calmed down. It got back to Santo, and Santo said, these guys were fighting with Babyface? And they said, yeah. Tell Babyface I want to talk to him. And that's what I did. I went upstairs. He lived on the second floor. So I went upstairs. He said, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm all right. He said, look, I'm sorry. These guys are... I said, don't worry about it, man. This guy, I don't know what he thought. He probably thought I was a suck or something. And then his boy Hector, who works for you, so I had to step to my business. He said, I like that about you. Boom, he gave me a bag of weed, man. Go downstairs. I was lit up, So I went back to 82nd Street because my girl didn't show up. So I went back to 82nd Street to hang out with Sandy. And I got there. We would talk about certain things. And then one day she told me, she says that she said, Johnny, I'm planning on moving to Florida. I said, what? You are? She said, yeah. Would you like to go with me? I said, sure. What the hell I know about Florida? And she said, yeah. She says, I don't know when, but definitely I'll let you know, and you want to tell your mom this, that, and the other. So I did tell my mom. My mom said, you ain't going nowhere. She said, you are not going nowhere. I said, but Ma, Sandy's like a big sister. She said, you are not going nowhere. said, why? And what happened? I'm trying to focus on something. I think there was some clown, some alcoholic or whatever was smoking, and they probably threw a cigarette, and that whole area started burning. And I noticed that, and I ran and I called. I told Sandy, there's a fire. And she's, oh my goodness. And the fireman came, they turned the fire off, this and the other. So I told her, I said, look, I spoke to my mom a couple of days after that whole incident happened. I spoke to my mom, but she don't want me to go. She said, oh, that's too bad. I really wanted you to go, because Gary would have had a nice companion, over there, and I know that you would always look out for him. And when it did happen, when she was ready to leave, and I saw her downstairs in the street, she had a jacket on and this, that, and the other. And she hugged me. She had tears in her eyes and all that, and I almost got emotional, And she said, I'm really gonna miss you. And I said, thank you so much for being there for me when I needed you. It was, like I said, I met important people. One of the people that for me was pretty cool was this singer named Del Marino, who took me to 74th Street, 75th and Broadway, and we went shopping, and said they gave him some money for me, and they bought me some stuff, and I'll never forget that. They were cool people. And another thing, before she did leave, she left. She gave me a little thing that said "L'chaim," long life, and I had that for many years, and that was it, and I realized why she had to go to Florida, because if you think about it, her dad probably had a swim for her. I'm joking. No, but, her dad, she wanted to be close, I guess, to her father, And that one, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a supporter of what I'm doing. I have a lot of stories, stories about, days growing up in the hood. I even got stories about, Rikers Island and this, that, and the other. All right? Peace.